So now that the neck is glued back together, I could call it a day, just polish it up, but I'm a little bit concerned about the strength of a butt joint, right? Because it is just two ends just butted together. It is welded, but so I'm gonna add a spline. So spline kind of, this is not it, but goes across the crack and bridges it. So you have all these surfaces that is sort of welded onto the original plastic to strengthen it. And for that, I'm going to be using 1/8 inch plexi or acrylic. So same material as this, I think. But I'll basically be cutting a 1/8 inch slot across this crack. And I'm probably going to do 3 joints here and possibly 3 here. 1 at least. The other 2, I don't know. I mean, it is on the curvature, so it's a little bit tricky to route out a thing. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do it. But so the next step, I have to figure out how to cut a clean 1/8 inch joint. Probably have to create some kind of jig or something. Okay, so this is the setup I have to route the truss rod channel. Actually, it's a splinter, whatever, piece. So basically, this is 3 centimeter high splints that I have made. So it will stick out way beyond it. But basically, I'll be writing a channel here, which is at the base and at the headstock area. So this one right here is my usual truss rod routing jig. I had to compensate for the height of the neck. So basically I have a few scrap woods, all double stick tape and clamped down. So with my Dremel, this is a 1/8 inch bit, which unfortunately is a little bit thicker than the 1/8 inch acrylic I got. So I'm gonna have to use some kind of gap filling glue to attach it. But basically I'll be going through this a few times in order to get the depth that I need. So here's the interim report. I've been nibbling away about 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter at a time. So I think you can see the slot there and the slot there. So basically there's a slot here and a slot here where basically this piece, as I cut it, will go in. So I finished spline, I think it's called, right? This is too shiny. So basically, let's see, get about 14 millimeters of thickness. So that is like right, where is it? To here. Basically, I'm hitting some channel or whatever. So that's as far as I go. So this is about 15 millimeters here too. So basically, go in here. Right. And where's the other one? And I left the top part open so I could use the plier to extract it if I have to. Anyways, I'll just now glue it down and the spline is done. So the spline that was in here, like that, it's been cut down, been cut down and filed down to dimensions and then sanded. So we got a whole bunch of area that's kind of scratched up now from the sanding. Basically putting in a little bit more of the Weld-On 16 cement as a gap filler so it won't see any gaps. Same thing here. Basically it was this piece. And on the side here, let's see. hard to see maybe, but you could see the spline go down to about here in the side view. Yeah, I think right onto about here. So about 3/4 of the way through the neck. I'm gonna try to make this thing look nice. Also, at the same time, I sanded down the front, the fingerboard side. Let's see, it was a little proud, so basically sanded down so I have a flat surface for the frets to go on. Okay, while I'll wait for the glue here to cure, I'm gonna do a little bit of work on the body side. Nothing wrong with the body, except, let's see, it is a clear steel body, and when you look at it, there's sort of a rat's nest of wires that's red, black, yellow, and it's not that neat. So I'm gonna clean that up. And also the pickup configuration, basically it's a HSH configuration, but when it's in a 2 position, rather than these 2 coils working, all 3 of the coils work. So basically all it's doing is it's a strap, right? And without getting the humbucking effect, the parallel humbucking effect of these 2 here and these 2, because these DiMarzio Evolution pickup, and notice the gold pole piece on this Evolution middle pickup, is most likely not DiMarzio. I think one pickup will cost more than this whole guitar that I got, and it is only a 2-conductor wiring. It is shielded though, so I'm gonna have to change it out to a 4-conductor wire. Basically I have here a 4-conductor wire, so I'll be converting these wiring of these 2 pickups and getting the true sort of the inner coil, middle coil, parallel humbucking sound in the 2 and the 4 positions. Okay, and trying to figure out the polarity of the magnets. Let's see. This is, I don't know if you could see it, white on the top. This just flipped, black, white, black. Can't see anything, huh? But this is white. So these are not reverse pole. So this pickup and this pickup, same. Let's see, black, white, which I think means, let's see, south, north, and this is a north. So these won't humbuck. I have to either connect it with this, or I have to flip the magnet to change the polarity on this one. This is a Shatton polarity tester. Got it at StuMac. Usually I like the thing I get from StuMac, but this is, I can't say positive things about this. So here's a bit of pickup surgery. Basically there was a black electrical tape wound around the pickup. If you take that out, there are 4 screws, which is already off, right? Oh, by the way, if you don't know what you're doing, don't do this, because I'm not going to be responsible for you destroying your pickup. Okay, and this comes out, right? So this is the magnet. So right now, let's see, black, white. This is black, so that means it is south, and this is white, so it's north. Basically, I'm gonna destroy this doing one-handed. So lift the magnet out, spin it 180 degrees, put it back in place. And let's see, here you go. White is north. This is south. Right. So I was so basically I flipped the pickup around. So now this would be humbucking with the middle pickup. To go further, let's see, I have to cut these wires off. I'm probably gonna unwind this because the ground wire is on the wrong side. Well, let's see, not the ground to the plate, but the ground wire is on the wrong side. So I need to, I was just gonna cut it here and then just do soldering on the exposed leaves, but I don't know what this looks like, this ground wire. So I'm gonna have to cut the tape off, or take the tape off and look in a little bit further than I want it to. So speaking of not knowing what you're doing, yeah, so busted the wires. So basically I had this wrapping. So I was picking at it to try to peel it off, and I peeled it off, and the wires peeled off with it. So it's not potted or anything, it's just loose wire. You see the end or the beginning of the winding and the end of the wiring here, although it's not quite. So basically what I have to do now is unravel it to point where the wire is connected, if I could find it. I don't know if I will. And then see if I could attach it, but I think this is toast. This is kind of funny. Anyways, bye. Okay, so I got the rear pickup wound in a 4-wire configuration. Right. It used to be that gray thing. Here we go. Basically, it used to be a 2-wire. It's been converted, so stuff all of this thing. Just need to wrap it with electrical tape and done. Okay, so I've been sanding down. The problem here, you can still see the crack, but if you run your nail over it, am I running it over? I can't even tell what I'm running over. Here it is. And this side, the slit, the spine goes from about here to here, and basically you can see it with some air bubbles in it, but all the cracks basically you can't feel it. And I was shaping it at 220 grit sandpaper. Have since polished it up with 220, 400, 800, 1000, 1500 to get it to this point. Don't know if you could tell with the video. It's pretty close, but it is a little cloudy, I would say, not as polished. So taking out my big buffer, and we'll polish it out and see what happens. Okay, here you go. Show you the results of the polishing. So all this area has been sanded and scratched up, and now you can see, if my hand stops shaking, zoom out, you can see that it's polished, completely polished out, and the color is the exact match with what it was, and actually it is probably shinier than what it was originally. You can see the spline that runs from here, and I can't even see it, here to here. It's completely step free, although looks like there's got a little bit of imperfection, and you could see how long it goes into a tenon. So it goes down to about here, and I would say I thought 3/4, but maybe a little over half, so maybe 5/8, 6/8, probably like 5/8 inch. And here's the finish here, so completely polished out. I was watching a YouTube, the guy from Crimson Guitar, the bald-headed guy with a tattoo on his head, and he was talking about the crystal guitar or the acrylic guitar he made, and he said it'll polish out just like a regular guitar with the finish. Until then, I thought I was gonna have to roll it with flame or something that seems to be the normal way to polish out sort of the end grain or the end of an acrylic piece. But anyways, I didn't have to do it, so it's just like polishing it out. So here, again, the fretless part is where the joint was. So you can see that it's completely clear. You can't tell from the front that this thing's all been sanded down. And also here was a crack. The fret's missing. You can still see the crack, but you can't feel it, and I think it's merged enough or welded on together that it's not going to break. Anyways, put strings on this and see what happens.